In Have Better Morals news, submitted by I Love You, here's why we learn more from trusting people than by being suspicious of them. Because we fuck up and then...
They haven't lived in LA. But go on.
So pretty much this whole article here, they're talking about how when you trust someone, you end up learning more and you end up learning how to trust. So if you're constantly suspicious of people...
Makes sense.
For sure. No, it's just like, for example, if you're... One of the examples that they use here, it's like, if your friend is asking if he could come sleep over, if you don't trust your friend and you say no, then you'll never know if your friend was trustworthy.
Right.
So you're like...
It's like you have to get robbed to find out if you would have gotten robbed.
Right.
That's stupid.
So they're saying that
You could test motherfuckers like without going so far. I wouldn't put my butthole at risk like that.
Well, this whole piece here is just talking about how you end up becoming like smarter if you end up trusting more. So as a society, there are a lot more benefits for you to be more trusting rather than being skeptical of people and just not trusting.
Go ahead and get robbed first.
I got sued.
For what?
But now you learn how not to get sued, right?
Right. So it's worth it.
It's like the more shit you go through, the more like callous
I
you
definitely
become.
think that like life experiences are great, but I'm just like,
It sucks when you're going through them.
I don't know.
Why'd you get sued? Can we know?
I signed an NDA, so I can't like talk about the person.
But yeah, so anyway, so then they're also talking about how there were these experiments conducted similar to trust games where participants would interact with each other before making the decision to transfer money or not to the other. And so the most trusting participants were better at figuring out who would be trustworthy or whom they would transfer money or should transfer money. So then they found out that there was the same pattern, and so people who trust, like for example, people who trust the media more are more knowledgeable about politics and news, and same thing like with people that trust more or that trust science, then they end up becoming more scientifically literate. And so it's just like if you continue to close yourself off from things and not trust anything, then you're not gonna really educate yourself, and not just in terms of like interpersonal relationships.
Do you think there's a difference between being open and trusting? Because like being open, like I can listen to the media, but I don't know about trust. You know, like
because they're mixing belief.
Right.
So like, do I believe in the media or do I believe and trust what they're saying?
Right.
Or am I open to the information instead of shutting it out completely?
Like I'm open to the information.
But don't you guys think that the normal person is most likely to channel into whatever they trust rather than like just have an open mind and see every other point, you know?
The average person, yeah, and I think that's what's wrong, is that I think that people need to listen to all different sources and then form their own opinion rather than just tune into like one source and like they're telling you this other source is lying, so then you don't even listen to that source because you trust this one so much.
Yeah, because to me, trust sounds a little bit like blind faith.
That's what it sounds like to me.
In this article.
Yeah, I think trust needs to be earned.
I wasn't talking about relationships.
I mean, yeah, like that one friend example.
The way I do it is I give everyone trust till you break it, then you never get it again. But
Can I borrow $1,000?
yeah, you
Okay,
could.
cool.
Yeah, and if you never gave it back, I'd just be like, dang, he's a piece of shit. You know? But yeah, I would
now
give you
you learn not to trust
$1,000.
I always say like trust is built in stages, right? Like you never fuck on the first date unless it's really good. Well, you're not supposed to, right? You're not really
Says who?
supposed to. Well,
We'll hear about it.
But how many great things come out of that? But anyways, so like, you might be okay with $1,000, right?
Right.
Because you kind of know Bart. But what if he asks you for $1 million?
If I had it and like I know your character enough that I would give it to you.
Yeah, but that it's in stages because your question, because your thing was if I had it, right? So
Right, I don't have it. Bro,
people
sorry.
like let's say if you have 10 gold rings, right? And if he asks you to borrow one, you'll be like sure, because you have 10.
Yeah.
So you can test that friendship with that one thing, and if it goes away, it's fine. What if he asks you for all 10? That's different.
But think about it this way: one gold ring is still worth a lot. Like that's still something
It
I
is,
want
but what I'm
back.
saying is it's worth to test the relationship versus all your gold rings. If you give up all your gold rings, now that's gonna make you sweat because you're like, fuck, did I make the right choice?
Yeah, but you never give everything away. Not even in
So
a
you're
relationship.
saying
Obviously,
trust
but in
here.
the trust thing, is it can easily come off as that.
Yeah.
And when you tell someone to trust someone, to me, it's done in stages, not blind faith.
Yeah, because the article seems like let them give everyone all 10 rings all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But it should be, in stages. Like, okay, I heard this on the media. I checked my sources. This media is pretty accurate. The next thing this media tells me, I'm gonna believe it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
Because like Scientology, people just blindly trust them, and
Yeah.
then they get all of everything taken away from them. so like I don't.
Yeah, so I think it's all about
Oh, you
being
learned
open
exactly.
and giving trust in stages.
Trust is hard.
Yeah, but I enjoy being curious and open and trying to learn and understand and make my own decisions after I get almost all the information.
Anyway, if you were about to get into a new relationship, do you just trust, or are you like, oh, I'm just not gonna let you go out with your friends until you show me you can go out with your friends, and
Oh,
then
shit.
right, like
Oh, that kind of trust?
like a relationship, you kind of just trust until they fuck up, and then you're like, oh wait, now I gotta make sure you
Kind
don't
of.
go out
I
with
think
your
it still
friends.
goes with the stages part of it. Because, I mean, you trust up until the point, like, you're not giving it all. You know what I mean?
You're kind of
still-
testing more than you're like what do they do if they're allowed to if they go out with their friends and stuff, and then as you evolve as a couple,
I
I,
guess to
feel
get
like
to
more.
that point, you are trusting enough though
in the
to
beginning.
do that.
I guess I wouldn't call it trust, because to me it's more like a test. Like I'm sampling and seeing if we gel together.
Yeah, I think that's how the article is like approaching it as though. Like I guess for you, you're labeling it as like sampling, but for them, they're calling it like trust them enough to even give them that
Go.
chance.
Because trust to me means like if I go like this, you catch me every time.
True.
You know, that's trust. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust like a brand new relationship. I'm like, I want to, but like I don't know.
You've been hurt before.
Yeah.
Because you trusted, and now
trusted
you
before,
know.
Now you learn.
Yeah. So like if like they go out enough times and I see like, oh wow, they really have my back, or they really like care about me, or they show it in some way, then I'm like, I think I could fall now. Yeah. And, like,
Are you
can
talking
catch
about
me.
romantic or platonic relationship?
I think
Both, like in different ways.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about romantic, right?
As for romantic, I think in the beginning of the relationship, I just trust 1,000,000%.
That's me as fuck.
I literally like if we at the minute I go, I think I want to pursue this. It's like, here's my social security number, my credit card
Oh my
number, my
God.
bank account, every single thing, and I trust completely. That's
awesome.
And I'm like, but if you fuck me over, I will fucking kill you and your entire fucking family. So be very careful with all this information.
Careful with my heart.
Yeah. But it's hard for me to be like steps when it comes to relationship. In business dealings, I think it's different, but with friends, I just go, this is my fucking heart. Everyone has keys to my house. I don't give a fuck about anything.
I like that too.
Yeah, and that's why you have more meaningful relationships and experiences, because you're like, fuck it, and then if you fall, you're like, well, that hurt, but at least like I got something. Like you learned something along the way.
But you guys get to that point where you go, okay, all my trust, right? So leading up to that, there is a test.
Yeah.
Up until that point where you go, we're together, boom. I trust
Like
you
the talking
completely.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that stage is where people kind of like never leave, even after they get into a relationship.
Yeah.
So they're testing, and then they say yes, and then they're still testing.
Yeah.
You test forever. I don't think you ever stopped testing.
Oh, I stopped testing.
Really?
Like
It's so
really
exhausting.
No, it's just until like it's like initial like maybe like 1 month where I'm like, I don't know, do they like me as much as I like them? And then I have to see signs of it.
Yeah.
And then when I really see signs of it, I mean, it has to come within the first couple weeks, or else like why would I stay in it?
Right, but what I mean is like in every aspect of a relationship, like not just faithfulness, but like, do you trust 1,000? Well, I guess I just answered my own question. You trust 1,000%. That's why you're married. Yeah, because finances, everything.
Yeah,
Once you get past that stage,
I'm not there yet, though. So. I'm not married.
I get it.
And he's buying all your friends flowers. That's kind of weird.
well, it's
That's a
like up
different
until
video.
the point where you feel weird about something. Like this doesn't seem
Yeah.
right. Why is your mouth on that guy's dick? Are you cheating? No, we're friends. Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't trust like that.
Yeah, but I think it's like up until that point where something weird happens, then you're like, man, this is not normal.
Yeah.
Then you got to talk about it, question it, see how it works. Past that,
I don't talk about it. I go investigate.
Going back to this article here, like that's pretty much what they're saying. It's like you have to trust enough to even like begin and like having that opportunity where you can learn something from someone or from the topic. But if you're completely closed off to it and you're just like, I'll never trust that person, they'll never enter, you'll never learn, you'll never grow, you won't learn how to trust if you never trust.
Totally. I guess I just labeled it differently. Like, to me, that's just being open.
I agree though.
But
like,
it takes a little bit of time to trust.
all of us don't think that the word trust is defined well in this article, like the way that we see it.
Yeah.
I would call it openness or like
You gotta
like
be willing to take a
curious
punch.
Yeah.
Or approaching risky things with optimistic points of view.
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.